I thought it would be a great idea to make some crates for Mother's Day. Inside the crate you can put anything that Mom's heart desires, whether it's treats, coffee, biscuits, magazines, or even something for the bathroom. With Tjhoko Paint, you never have to sand or prime, but the surface you're working on needs to be grease-free and oil-free. How to get that clean surface is to use a cloth, dip it in some thinners, and just wipe your surface nicely clean. So I'm going to start with the color Coral Stone. I give my bottle a quick shake, unscrew the lid. I take a clean brush, I dip it into my paint, and I am going to start painting. So the technique we are going to do today is a distressed finish, and I'm going to show you how to accomplish this technique using Vaseline. I do have a crate that's already dry. Let's just put it here. Important is that you use pure petroleum Vaseline, as it is an oil base and all the Tjhoko Paint products are water based. So everywhere where you apply the Vaseline, the paint can't grip. So I just put Vaseline randomly and a generous amount of Vaseline. Next I'm going to start with my second color, and this will be Lorraine's Cream. Take my paintbrush and paint straight on top of my Vaseline. So once this is done, I'll now wait for the paint to dry. I have an area that's already dry, and next I'll be using a paint scraper to remove the paint and Vaseline, and I'm just scraping top of my crate to remove all the Vaseline. Next, I'll be taking a Scotch pad, and I'll use this just to remove any excess Vaseline that might be on the surface. I'm now going to repeat the entire process again. So I'll be adding Vaseline to my surface. Next, I'll be applying my third coat of paint in a third color. I have now a dried section over here, and I'm going to start scraping this now from my surface. Next, I'll be using my Scotch pad just to remove any excess. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do to be adding more depth and definition and even more of a distressed finish to the surface is I'll be applying our antique brown glaze. So I'm going to open my antique brown glaze, and I'm actually going to give the pot a nice stir. On a small surface, it's not necessary to dilute the glaze with water, but if you're going to work on larger areas, because the glaze tends to dry quickly, I do recommend to pour it into something else and dilute it with your 30% of water. And always work with a damp cloth. It just prolongs the drying time. I squeeze out any excess water. Take a clean brush, dip it in my glaze. Now with the antique brown glaze, you need to work small areas at a time to make sure that the glaze doesn't dry on you. But my crate is small enough to do it in one step. Next, I will be using my damp cloth, and I start wiping away the glaze. So this gives extra depth, dimension to your surface, makes it look even older. Once the antique brown glaze has now dried, and you will find that it dries quite quickly, you can now complete the rest of your crate in the exact same way. And also bear in mind that you don't need to use the antique brown glaze. Just make sure that you remove any excess Vaseline from the surface before you start applying the water slide transfer that we will be doing next. So this is not a sticker, it's not a stencil. It is a film, if I can describe it like that we are going to leave in some cold tap water to come loose from the backing, and then we will slide it onto our painted surface. So next I'll be using a water slide transfer in a bicycle design because it reminds me of my mom. I've cut it out around the border of the design, and I'm now going to soak the entire water slide into some cold tap water. And you will see once you dip in the water it starts folding up. That's perfectly fine, and I'll just now feel until the two sections on the water slide separates from each other. So I'm now removing my water slide transfer from the water, and as you can see the front slides loose from the backing, and now I know it's ready to be used. So I put it on the surface where I want it. I move part of the clear front a little bit to the side so that I have space to hold it down, and I start removing the backing, and I just make sure that I nicely and patiently remove any bubbles or water between the slide and the surface that I'm applying this to. Next, I'll be using a clean cloth to remove any water, air bubbles or any imperfections from our water slide. Next, to secure the transfer, I'll be using our clear glaze as a top coat just to make sure that the transfer stays there. And my Mother's Day gift is completed. You can now fill your crate with anything that Mom loves, whether it's her favorite magazines, books, stationery, biscuits, cappuccinos. It's completely up to you, but I'm sure it's something that every mom will love and appreciate.